What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the A Ward Show, episode number 3. I am your host and curator and videographer and all the good things. I am A Ward, and thank you for tuning into another week of the A Ward Show. Make sure you subscribe, whether you're listening to me on your favorite audio platform, or you're watching me on YouTube. Make sure you hit the link tree. Make sure you hit the link tree. Run all my socials. Follow me. Interact with the boy. Comment. Tell me I'm wrong on most of my opinions. I'm cool with that. We can have a back and forth. Shout out to all my people on TikTok, all my people on Instagram. The love has been fantastic through the first 2 weeks, and I love that goddamn word, fantastic. But I don't want to waste any time this week. Because, man, last week was crazy. The way the week ended off with sports was crazy. And so we're going to start off with my favorite segment, the segment where I talk about sports that I probably have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. This is Yo No Sé Nada.
Yo no sé nada.
All right. Let's start with the first topic I want to bring up. And it is shake 'em up, shake 'em up, shake 'em up, shake 'em. Roll 'em in a circle of NBA players and watch me break them with the seven. Come on, man. What? So, I'm pretty sure all of you have heard. If you have not heard, I don't know where you have been. I don't know what you've been paying attention to. But if you even put one eye on sports, have one ear open for what's going on with the sports world. NBA started off very quiet opening to the start of the NBA season last week. It felt very forced. It felt very it felt like they were trying to get excited about it, but there wasn't too much to get excited about right out the gate. And obviously there's been some storylines in the offseason with Pablo Torre, breaking the news about possible circumvention with the Clippers and how they could have paid Kawhi Leonard outside of the actual salary cap. And so that's still a storyline. The gambling story was kind of here and there, but then all of a sudden, boom, the FBI has arrested NBA players, former coaches, Hall of Fame players, in what seems to be the gambling scandal of at least the last 30 years, right? So obviously the huge Pete Rose was a big gambling scandal back in the days. Then there was the one that came out again with the NBA ref, who was a part of fixing games as a ref, or making, he was a part of fixing games as a ref and was caught doing it. And, it's out there. I think there's a documentary on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. But let's get into this story. And I've been really trying to unpack what my actual opinion about it is, because I like doing this show because I get a chance to kind of sit down for a couple of days and see what news comes out. I don't have a reactionary platform where, it's like it's going to be that day. Like something happens that day, whatever news comes out, I'm going to react to it in real time. So it does give me a couple of days to try to sit and wait for some information to come out, because a lot of times we may jump off the cliff too early. We may give an opinion on something that's not an actual fact. And so there's still a lot to be desired here as far as news and facts and yada, yada, yada. But I will tell you, we'll kind of get into what is out there and what is known. So multiple people were arrested in a gambling scandal. This was Friday. What day was that? That was the 24th, I want to say, 23rd, 24th of October. And including former NBA players Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and current NBA player Terry Rozier. Now, Chauncey Billups is a head coach for the Portland Trailblazers, the Blazers. He is a Hall of Fame basketball player as well. He is in the Hall of Fame as we speak right now. And he was arrested due to this gambling scandal. Now, I'm gonna go to Terry Rozier real quick. Terry Rozier had been investigated by the NBA. For those who don't know, he had been investigated by the NBA. He was found of no wrongdoing by the NBA prior to these arrests. And so I'm gonna put that out there. I'm gonna come back to that. We're gonna circle back to that. But I just want to say that Terry Rozier was investigated by the NBA, was found of no wrongdoing. He was found innocent of any type of gambling scandal, whatever the case may be, by the NBA's private investigators. So moving forward, obviously the FBI has found something different. This involved La Costa Nostra, right? This was multiple mob families. And for those of you who are not aware, yes, the mob is still a real thing. This was not just over the last few months, this was a years-long investigation. As Kash Patel put it, it was very dramatic in the way that the press conference was. Kash Patel said, this is hundreds of dollars, this is thousands of dollars. It was tens of millions of dollars from what they can speak to. And then, if you guys did not watch the press conference of them announcing the arrest, please go back and do so, because some of the lines they were using were crazy. They were like, this is just to let you know, guys, all bets are off. All bets are off. You got to know when to fold them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it was mad funny to me. Like, you could tell that they definitely were in the mirror the night before. Like, I'm gonna kill him with this one. This is my chance. So extremely funny. If you guys get a chance to go watch the press conference from them announcing the arrest and all that, it's hilarious. But like I said, tens of millions of dollars were involved. What's been put out there over the last couple of days, still facts coming out. So as we kind of figure this out together as a team, as the people and your boy, we'll figure it out. We'll talk about it. We're going to bring it up. But Chauncey knowingly rigged card games from quote unquote fish as a quote unquote face card. I guess there's a lot of quotes here, organized by a quote unquote quarterback. And also possibly he gave info about basketball games, intel on certain players, certain teams, blah, 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 that was not known to the public to other card players he was playing against or with. There were x-ray tables that were reading cards, as well as marked cards for them to cheat. It's also come out from a very well-known poker player, card player, and this interview was from 2023, where he said that going back as early as 2018, 2019, it was well known. This is way before. This video has been out for 2 years at this point. And he says, hey, man, Chauncey Billups was rigging card games back in the days, and he's been doing it for a few years now. And I don't know how this, I don't know how it didn't get out. I don't know I don't know. I don't know how this information just now is just barely popping up. Internet's weird like that. It's like, we won't really talk about it when it happens, but it's like, hey, man, this guy said this back in 2023. I don't know. Now, got all that out the way. And I know you guys are like, well, hey, Ward, yeah, you gave us some information, but you haven't told us how you feel about this. So I don't know. I think it's very strange. I think the timing of this, I do want to say, I think the timing of this is something that we have to pay attention to. I think we have to pay attention to, like, when this news came out. What this means for the NBA is I don't know. Now, the NBA, to me personally, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, I have fallen off watching the NBA the way I used to when I was a kid, even in my early 20s. The last probably 5-6 years, it just hasn't been really interesting during the regular season. I know a lot of people say that about baseball. I think baseball's done a great job of getting better at kind of making the regular season shorter in the games, a lot more fun. Series are better. And I feel like the NBA, the matchups, you really don't, a lot of these teams, the load management part of it, a lot of these teams really don't play their guys until, kind of that middle part of the year, but the beginning and the end, they're either resting them, or maybe you get lucky and somebody's trying to fight for a playoff spot or trying to maybe get the number 1 seed, get a bye week, whatever the case may be in the end of the season. And so it gets a little bit more interesting. But I think the NBA has not really been that interesting over the last few years for me personally. If you guys may feel different about that. And there's always been kind of this cloud of doubt over the NBA as far as, and really any sport, but especially NBA, after so many stories have come out, so many things have been brought to light about, especially gambling scandals. And rigging games and fixing games and load management has been a big, conversation over the last few years. So I think the NBA is already taking a hit now. Some people may say, all publicity is good publicity, but in this case, I don't know. You've already got an issue where, there may be some circumvention that was happening with the Clippers, as I said earlier, with the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard and Steve Ballmer and all that jazz that's going on. If you guys aren't familiar with it, go watch Pablo Torre. He will explain everything. It's fascinating to me. But then you have something like this, and you have a guy like a Chauncey Billups, who's, I think there has been some stuff that's been said or some news that's been reported on him, but it's kind of went to the wayside. I think largely for those who are not in the know, view Chauncey Billups as kind of like this good guy of basketball, right? And especially being a Hall of Famer, like, are they going to kick him out now? Like, I don't know. And so I think what's interesting is that the NBA, when David Stern left and Adam Silver took over, there was very much this feeling of, hey, we've got a players commissioner now. We've got a guy who's for the players. And he did a great job, at least in the public eye, of really trying to advance and take the game to the next level. And I think he did for quite a while there. But Adam Silver, man, these last few years, I mean, the fact that you investigated one guy and then that same guy gets investigated by the FBI, and you said there was nothing that, like, it wasn't like you said, okay, like he was involved in some stuff, but it wasn't as egregious as we thought. We let him know, hey, cut the shit out. You're right up on the line here. And then the FBI did their investigation, and obviously it is probably going to be a little bit more detailed. But I don't know, man. These sports leagues, man, they hire former government. They hire former law enforcement to do these investigators. Private investigators are guys who worked in the FBI, guys who worked as detectives. Like, these are not just, some regular Joe Schmo that watches shows and reads a couple books and now he's a private investigator. These guys were in law enforcement, working for the government. They know the ins and outs and they have the tools and the systems, same way the FBI does. So I don't know. I think the NBA I'm just gonna say, man, I think they're fucked. They're gonna have to do a lot, and it seems like they're gonna make an example. You can't play with the integrity of the game. It's already come out. You had a ref, an official that had a big gambling scandal back in the days, and with sports betting being the way it is. And it's now so, it's so huge now, like it's so accessible to the people. Most of these podcasts and most of these shows and, ESPN and they have big sponsorship, and endorsement contracts with, DraftKings and FanDuel and, so many prize picks and, a lot of these big time sports betting companies, MGM, so, they're, and other leagues are going to pay attention as to how the NBA deals with this, because that's big money, man. That's big money. It's big money when it comes to these damn sports books. Big money. And the one thing that the NFL, the MLB, NHL, any other sports league across the United States and the world, for that matter, is looking at the NBA right now and be like, y'all gotta fix this shit now, because you cannot mess this up for us. So we will be paying close attention. If you guys are seeing stuff out there that I've missed or just new information, it's got to be real information. Don't give me fake stuff. But man, shoot it hit it in the comments, man. And we'll try to break this thing down as it goes along. We'll try to break this thing down as it goes along, for sure. But let me know your guys' thoughts on the whole NBA gambling scandal, and yeah, we'll keep it rocking. Now on to the NFL, and I've got a few taglines here. I'm going to take a quick sip of my energy drink. Getting a little perched there. Let's start off with this, man. In the NFL, J.J. McCarthy. They gave J.J. McCarthy the keys to the franchise. They gave the keys to the franchise to J.J. McCarthy, but yet it feels like he stole it. Does it feel like J.J. McCarthy stole the Vikings franchise? I get it. Let's break this down. There is a video floating out there. It's probably right here somewhere. I have it posted right now of somebody getting tackled on the sideline, and J.J. McCarthy has an ankle injury and seems to be as nimble as a cat. Ankle looks fine. Doesn't look like Cam Scatterboo's. We'll get into that a little bit later. Prayers up for Cam Scatterboo. But seems to be just fine to me. And I don't know. To me, it feels like the Vikings don't fully trust either his capability or his availability, or both. And as we know in sports, the best ability is availability. You got to be on the field. But he looks healthy enough. Now, I don't know. This is just outside looking in, right? Sometimes you might be at like 70%. Team doesn't want something to happen to you. Could you play? Most likely. But it's middle of the regular season. Rather get you another week. Make sure you feel, get to at least 85%. Nobody's at 100% in the NFL after week one. But get as close as possible. So he may be healthy enough to play, but they're, being cautious. That's, he was suited up. I don't know. But it does feel like they definitely thought they were going to be able to do something similar to what happened last year, which is, hey, we got this guy who used to be a starting quarterback. He's now our backup quarterback. This kind of worked for us last year. We really don't want to do the same thing, but we can get through a couple games with this guy that we have in Carson Wentz. And Carson went. He gone. Carson gone, baby. Carson went. Because that dude is not Sam Darnold. And that dude is not going to be able to take care of this franchise for you. But I don't know if JJ is going to be that guy either. Like I said, I didn't see enough of him from him in college. I thought that was more about Jim Harbaugh being a tremendous coach than it was about J.J. McCarthy being a tremendous quarterback. And I think he was highly overvalued in the draft by the Vikings. But you never know, because that head coach has been really, really good with quarterbacks. Now this year doesn't seem to feel that way, but I think that's more about the quarterbacks that he has. I don't think Carson Wentz is good. They put a statue of Nick Foles while that man was still on the team, right outside that stadium, while that man was the projected starter for the next year. They put the backup quarterback as a statue when Carson Wentz was still there. Indianapolis paid him a ton of money too. And we saw how that worked out. So Vikings, I don't know, man. You might got to take your keys back. But I don't know what you do. I definitely probably give it another year and see how JJ looks fully healthy. I don't think there's a bunch of quarterbacks that are going to be coming out in the draft this year. But, man, to go from being highly competitive in that division to, in last place, and that division is just getting better. Like, you're going to fall behind quickly. That division is getting better. So, I don't know. Figure it out. Next topic we got, and I've been thinking about this for a minute, is RG2. RG2? I'm going to tell you why Washington needs to be a tad bit worried about Jaden Daniels and his injuries and how they need to process going forward. Now, I do think them holding him out another week is the way they should have done it, the way they handled it. I think it was all the way correct. And I think they need to be careful. This feels very much like RG3, Robert Griffin III, all over again. If anybody remembers, man, as great as Andrew Luck was, and he was great, and that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day with Andrew Luck. But Robert Griffin III was the Rookie of the Year that year, and he was incredible at Baylor, and just took the league by storm. He was Lamar before Lamar, like he was Michael Vick 2.0 to some extent. And just great for Washington. And then he gets hurt that year. And then he comes back a little early. They kind of knew, going back to the J.J. McCarthy thing, maybe that's what's going on there. But they kind of knew he wasn't at 100%. And Robert Griffin was, I thought, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but probably a great competitor, wanted to get back. They were, looking at playoff, possibilities, and he wanted to be there for his team as a leader, as a quarterback, and came back too early and got hurt again, and just was never the same. Just was never the same. You would have glimpses, but it wasn't as consistent as it used to be. Ended up being a perennial backup, and has been an analyst. Football analyst, college football, NFL analyst, has his own podcast show for the last few years now. And I don't know why I cannot speak. It's been like the last few days like this. I've been mumbling, stumbling. I don't know. Help me. And whether you agree with Robert Griffin's shows or the way he does things, we're not here to talk about that. But Jaden Daniels is a transcendent talent, and we saw that last year, and we've seen it at times this year when he has been on the field. We see how Washington looks completely different without him, as we're seeing from a lot of these teams. But I do think Washington needs to be careful. Like, maybe you just take an L this year. You know what I mean? Like, Philly ain't going nowhere. You could still sneak into the playoffs, I mean, the NFC's tough. Like, the West and the North are the real deal. So there's probably going to be at least 2 teams out of the North and 2 teams out of the West that are going to make it to the playoffs. So you probably won't be in, but if you can sneak in as one of those, maybe that third wild card, because the South doesn't look like it's going to do things outside of the Bucks. Maybe, but you got to be careful. You can't, like, Jaden. If Jaden Daniels comes back and gets hurt again, what I'm saying is going to ring true throughout the whole NFL. Every analyst will be saying what I'm saying right now. They'll be like, "Hey, man, remember that guy RG3? Remember what happened to him? Cut it out. Cut it out." So please, commanders, for our sake as fans, we need these young boys. We want to see Jalen versus Jaden. We want to see Jaden versus Dak. We want to see, going down these years coming up, Jackson versus Jaden. Like, how exciting those games will be in that division. We want to see our young, great, talented quarterbacks healthy. And you do that by making sure you are careful. That's a guy you want to be a damn near 98 when he gets back. So the Jets finally take off after the longest flight delay ever. Maybe not ever, but man, didn't it feel like I knew they hadn't been winning, but they've been competitive in games. And then I turned it on. I was like, damn, they are 0-7. I'm like, well, didn't they? Oh no, they lost against them. Didn't it? No, they lost against them too. Didn't? No, they lost against them too. Like, my mind just had to really go back and break down each game because, man, they were competitive in some of these games. Obviously, first game of the year against Steelers. And we'll get into that game in a little bit. But they look good. They look good. I'll tell you what happened. They finally figured out that they have this guy on the team named Breece Hall. They finally figured out that they had Breece Hall. And he had 2 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown. I actually had him on my fantasy. Thank you, Breece Hall. I was like, man, when they got in the end zone again, and I was like, man, give it to Breece. Give it to Breece. I need the hat trick. I need the hat trick. And then he passed it. I started cracking up laughing. I was like, hey, get it how you got to get it. But they finally figured out. And I'm telling you, man, this is the secret sauce. I've been saying this. You have to develop the run game, especially when you have a good to great running back. And they have one really, really good one in Breece Hall. And they have some guys behind, the 2 and the 3 that are just as good. Red zone threats, end zone threats. Breece Hall is probably their biggest home run hitter as far as that position goes. But they have weapons everywhere. But, Justin Fields isn't a guy you want to just like, hey, man, gunslinger. No, use the run game. Set up the pass game. He had time yesterday. And they looked really, really good. Probably best game I've seen from Justin Fields in a while. And a lot of it had to do with they really set up the run game, set up the pass protection outside of the run game, using the run game to set up the pass, which gave him time to throw. And guys were open, and they played great. So congrats to Aaron Glenn on your first win as head coach of the Jets. You deserve it. I really, really hope, because I'm a fan of Aaron Glenn, I really, really hope that they continue to work and get better, because that division is wide open as far as being competitive inside that division. Looks like New England's back doing New England things, but we'll get to that. 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Huntley and the Ravens is at your door. Snoop Huntley. Did y'all watch that? I blinked twice. I said, "Is that Lamar Jackson? Is that Lamar Jackson? Is that who is that?" Snoop Huntley looked good, man. Like, what it looked like was that they could run some some semblance, some form of the offense that they run with Lamar Jackson with Snoop Huntley, and he was just precision. I mean, boom, 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 boom down the field, and Derrick Henry finally had a Derrick Henry game. His homeboy down in Philly had the same thing. Like, they played well on the same day. They looked like they did last year. Derrick Henry looked like he did last year. You know, not turning the ball over, running well. And look, the Ravens have a light schedule for the rest of this year. Now, it's going to be tough for them to get back into the playoffs. But the AFC, outside of the big dogs in the NFC is kind of balanced and competitive. A lot of 5-2, 5-3, 6-2. A lot of that. Like, you look at the West. Like I said, the West, the North. They got some. It's like 1, 2, and 3. A win here, a loss there, a tie. You know, we're talking about Green Bay. Like, man, that's going to be really competitive. The AFC, not so much. Not so much, right? Like, I think we kind of feel we know what's going to happen outside of the East with New England and Buffalo. And do we fully trust the Steelers right now? Do we fully trust them? I'm going to get into that a little bit later. Do we fully trust the Steelers? Like, we know what the Bengals are going to be at this point. Joe Flacco is going to be Joe Flacco. He's going to be really good for a couple weeks, and then he's going to be Joe Flacco again. Don't worry. We know about the Browns. We're not even going to talk about them today. Like, the Ravens have a light schedule coming up. They could really go on a run. What does that look like? Now, they would have to they've already lost 5 games, so they would have to probably be right around only 2 more losses, like, right? Maybe 3, depending, could get you into the wild card. They're going to have to really string some games together. But Snoop Huntley at least looked like the stopgap until Lamar Jackson gets back. And it looks like you can run that Lamar Jackson offense to a certain extent with Snoop Huntley. So congrats to Snoop Huntley, man. One of those guys, he's like kind of underrated as a backup quarterback. And I know that's crazy to be said, but backup quarterbacks are showing that they have some real value in this NFL this year. It's not just hold my clipboard. You have to be able to come in and win some games in the event that the turf monsters start killing these quarterbacks and everybody else. So shout out to the Ravens, man. We'll see. Let's pay attention to that one. Yes, I know what you're going to say when I get into this next subject. Yo, A Ward, man, you Oprah, man. You are Oprah with the MVPs, man. Cut it the hell out. Cut it out, man. Not everybody gets a goddamn MVP, A Ward. And you are right. I still have Baker Mayfield as my front runner. Still have him as my front runner. We'll watch. I still have Sam Darnold in the conversation. I'm not quite sure about Dak, and here's the only reason I'll say that is because I don't think their team's going to win enough, and I think that's going to matter down the road. But I know this is a quarterback's award, and you guys, some of you guys grilled me when I said it. He's the best running back in the NFL right now, and it's not even close. And he just hit another hat trick again yesterday. And I get it, the line's great. I get it. They've got weapons on the outside as well, but the little engine that is running that damn machine is Jonathan Taylor. It's JT, man. And JT right now is my number 2 MVP candidate. He is balling. It just looks different. I don't care if you're a fan of the Colts, you hate the Colts. I don't care if you watch them or not. Please go watch him. Like, he's playing so well that y'all think, I heard some people today saying Daniel Jones might be a goddamn MVP candidate. He's really making people look at Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones has played great, and they haven't played the best of competition. I think they got the Steelers coming up next week, so we'll see how that looks. But Jonathan Taylor, every time, just watch this dude, man. I'm saying this year right now. I'm not talking about last year, and this is not a diss to any other running back that's out there. Man, what Cook did yesterday, somebody talked about Cook in the TikTok. Commented, man, James Cook is the real engine that's running the offense. When I said it was Josh Allen. And he may be right from what Cook did yesterday. Now, Cook's played well this year. He had the best game of his season this year, yesterday or Sunday, whenever you're watching this. But what Jonathan Taylor is doing right now in the NFL, every week, damn near a hat trick every single week, breaking off 40, 56, like he's cooking. He is cooking. And to me, the MVP goes to the guy who is playing the best on a winning team. That's typically how that works. And normally that's your quarterback. Jonathan Taylor is playing MVP level. I don't want to argue with you about it. If you want to say something else, that's fine. You can put who you have all up in the comment section below. I have Baker Mayfield as the number one candidate. I think he is the clear cut right now favorite. There's still a lot more season to go. We're only halfway through the season, guys. We're only about halfway through the season. There is still a whole nother half to go. But right now it is Baker Mayfield, and slightly behind that is Jonathan Taylor. If I had to choose today, it'd be Baker Mayfield. I don't know if I'm going to say the same thing in 2 weeks. It has nothing to do with Baker. It has everything to do with Jonathan Taylor. So, say I'm Oprah if you want to. Say I'm Oprah if you want to. But that's where I got it right now. Beg to differ, let your boy know. We can talk about it. I actually, fun fact, I did not know the Dolphins. I didn't know Dolphins ate Falcons, but that is exactly what I saw yesterday. The Dolphins, I don't know. Y'all might pause me for some of this shit that I'm gonna say. I'll be on y'all pause game. So I don't know if I should say Dolphins ate the Falcons. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but they smoked them. I don't know. I said last week, man. I said last episode, they need to stop echo communicating or change the way they're echo communicating. And it looked like it worked. Now, I'll say this, man. I'll say this. Yeah, excuse me here. I'll say this, man. I said last week, do not bullshit with Bijan Robinson. I said last episode, I started the NFL topic off with Bijan Robinson is next level talented. And my man had 20-something yards rushing. What are we talking about? Atlanta, what the fuck are y'all doing? Pardon my English. What the fuck are y'all doing? Why can't y'all figure this out? Now, I know Penix was hurt. But damn it, you got one of the most talented running backs in the league. Why the hell can't y'all figure this shit out? I know Drake London was out. You still got a bunch of guys. And god damn it, you got Bijan Robinson. Do I need to have y'all call the Jets or whoever the Jets talked to that finally let them know they had Breece Hall? Do we need to find that person? He needs to pull up to ATL and let y'all dumbasses know that Bijan Robinson is on the team? Because you squandered it last week on Monday night, and then you came out here and it was like, was everybody injured? Was everybody hurt? Was the coach not there? Was this an exhibition game? This preseason? What are y'all doing? You let probably one of the most dysfunctional teams figure they shit out against y'all yesterday, Atlanta. And I don't understand it. Kyle Pitt goes from having a fantastic year to abysmal the next year. still not sure this year. Like Pro Bowler to abysmal to Bijan Robinson still is not showing up consistently enough, and I don't feel like that. I don't feel that's Bijan's fault. I watch the games. I don't understand how you guys are schematically game planning, because it damn sure ain't coming out every freaking game and like, yo, he's the guy. We're gonna figure out how to move the offense through him to make our quarterbacks and our receivers better. Sometimes you work through it and you let him get going, and then sometimes it's like, okay, we gave it to him, they loaded the box, and so we can't figure out any other way to use one of the most talented running backs that we've seen in a long time. This guy should really be in the same conversation, stat-wise, cooking-wise, as JT, as Josh Jacobs has been this year, even my man down in Dallas has been cooking this year. Like, Bijan should be in that same conversation, and yet every other week it's like, oh, there he is, oh, there he's not. ATL, I told y'all to figure out. Figure it the hell out, man. Figure it out, dude, because we want to see this dude, man. We want to see this guy ball. Look, I don't care what team you're a fan of. We are all fans of football. We like to see greatness. We like to see ballers ball. Most of us have fantasy teams. Most of us have multiple fantasy teams or in multiple fantasy leagues. We like to see ballers ball, man. Y'all can't be messing that up. Get it together, Falcons. Tex marks the spot. As I was just talking about Bijan Robinson, the Texans figured out that Woody Marks' skill set helps C.J. Stroud tremendously. So I keep saying last week, I don't know when you're watching this, but the previous week of football games, the Texans got absolutely demolished offensively. Like, that defense was just on their ass the whole night. And C.J. Stroud had no time. And I thought something was really weird. And I actually wrote down after that game that they probably need to fire their OC, because I didn't like the way he called the game. They ran inside like at least 5 to 6 times, maybe 9 to 10, when the inside run had not been there all night. And if anybody has watched Woody Marks since he was in college, you would know he's a guy that, like, he's more tailored for the outside run. Outside zone, get him on swing passes, get him on pitches, get him on runs off of the tackle as opposed to the center and the guard, and let him operate in space. And this is going to open up the pass protection for C.J. Stroud. And that is exactly, like, they figured it out. Like, kudos to the Texans. They use Woody Marks as an essential player in this game, and he cooked, man. He went to work, and it opened up. He opened up the game for C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud had a good running game a couple years ago, and that helped him a ton. And and they get it done without having some of their weapons, man. The weapons are in and out. I think Nico Collins was out again. And that is tough for a quarterback. You don't have your best guys, but the Texans figured out, man. Woody Marks he's kind of special. I don't know in the pantheon of running backs where he ranks at. He's still young, but his skill set is more tailored. Get him out in open space. Get him on outside pitches. Get him on swings. Get him on, 5 and under digs, right? Screens, sometimes I hate screens, but, sometimes it'll work. Get him on outside zone plays, outside left, outside right. And he will do well. And it kept that defense honest. It kept, the pass game in line as well. And the Texans looked really good yesterday. Shout out to the Texans, man. Shout out to CJ Stroud. And shout out to Woody Marks, a USC alum. You know what I'm saying? Fight on. Next topic. Roll to that, love. I don't know why I did that. I don't know. That was my bad attempt at an accent. But here's the thing. Yesterday, Packers played the Steelers, as we all know. Aaron Rodgers used to play for the Packers, then play for the Jets. Now he's on the Steelers. Jordan Love was the heir apparent and is now their quarterback of the Packers for the last few years. And I'm going to tell you two things. The Packers made the right decision by letting go of Aaron Rodgers when they did. But so did the Steelers this year by picking up Aaron Rodgers. And I did not believe that Aaron Rodgers was going to be that much of a difference for them. Now, Packers did win, and I thought they would win. I thought Jordan Love would have a great game, and Steelers defense leaves eight. I mean, I don't know if they need to call their cousins down in Dallas because, man, I think they're like 32nd in the league right now, 30th maybe, 31st. They're definitely in the bottom four in defense, and they've got, I think, the highest paid roster, but they just have a bunch of older guys over there, man. They got a bunch of names, but they got a bunch of guys on the back end of their career that I think are still good, but obviously are not consistent enough. They are getting cooked. If you guys hear the planes, I live near an Air Force base, so the jets go by all the time, so that's going to happen. I don't know if you can, but if you do, that's what that is. Like, damn, man, what the hell is that? That's the planes, man. It's the sound of freedom. Yeah, but the Packers made the right decision, man. Jordan Love is a top quarterback in the league, obviously. I think he's still getting through it, in his young career. Some games he doesn't look as consistent, but I think he's been pretty good. And I think the Steelers they put up points yesterday. It's just that defense sucks. The defense sucks. And Aaron Rodgers has played really well for them. They're number one. They're still number one in their division, which I don't think, outside of the Steelers fans, can we be honest? If we thought that Lamar Jackson was healthy, and if we thought that, Joe Burrow, and maybe if those two are, they weren't playing well when Lamar Jackson was there defensively. But I think most of us probably would have said at least the Ravens would be number one in there. And I think I had Cleveland being a lot better because that defense is stout. And definitely if Joe Burrow is healthy for the Bengals, that's a totally different story. But Pittsburgh is number one in that division, man. They're number one in that division. So it looks like they made the right decision as of now, still halfway through the season. I know they just lost yesterday, but I don't think that's a terrible loss. And it was closer in the end, score-wise. But, like I said, Steelers' defense isn't that great. And Green Bay's the real deal. So, all right. Take a sip, and we are going to get on to the MLB. Where we are in the World Series as of this recording. Game 1 and 2 are over. The series is tied 1-1. The day of this recording, Game 3 happens tonight. So by the time I talk to you guys next time, the World Series will be over. I think. I'm pretty sure. So let's wrap it up, man. Toronto dominated in Game 1, man. Toronto dominated in Game 1. Dodgers struck early, went up 2-0. Then it was tied 2-2. And then all of a sudden, man, Toronto was like, oh, yeah, man, we did this thing in the regular season, and we were really good at it. And they did that. And I did not. Look, Toronto's the real deal. I am not discounting them at all. But then Yamamoto, man, Game 2. Yamamoto completed Game 2. And second complete game in the postseason. I have a stat here. Where's the stat? Let me look it up. Yamamoto, the first Dodgers pitcher to win back-to-back postseason complete games since 1988. The last one to do it was Hershiser in 1988. Back-to-back postseason complete game wins. Yamamoto has been, like, from last year to this year, he had this thing of, like, either he would give up runs late, like he'd be dominant early and give runs late. But last year it was like he would give runs early and he couldn't get over it. Like it would be like the first inning and then all of a sudden it's just like boom, boom, boom. And they're just like cooking him. And then he'd have a great game and then he'd have a game where he'd get cooked. And what seems to have happened this year is like he has to let that first inning get through it. Like he can warm up all he wants, but he is going to give up a run in the first inning. He's going to give up a run in the first inning. And, like, after that, it's going to be like, oh, yeah, I do this thing where I pitch, and I'm really freaking good at it. I don't know. It happens every time he pitches. He's going to give up some shit in the first inning, and then 2 through whatever, he is just going to be like, oh, yeah, I have all these other things I can do when I throw, when I pitch. Like, I'm actually pretty good. I don't know why I couldn't remember the first inning. But here, let me show you guys. And then unstoppable. And it shows a lot that Dave Roberts trusts him to go complete games back to back too, man. Because Dave Roberts, he's a big matchup guy. He's a big analytics guy. So, you know, he's not a feel guy as much as some of the other managers. Although I do think he's gotten better at it over the last couple of years. I think winning, getting, you know, that proverbial weight off his back and winning in 2020 and then obviously last year has helped. But you know, this is a game of hits, you know, jabs versus hooks, man. Toronto is gonna hit. Where, you know, the Dodgers are gonna have, they're the big shot, right? The home runs, the Max Muncies, right? Pitching is obviously going to be huge going forward. Blake Snell did not play well the first game. Yamamoto did in the second. Bullpen didn't play well for the Dodgers in the first game, obviously. But look, I don't want to hear. I get it, man. The whole thing. Dodgers bought their roster. Blah 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 blah. Toronto's a really good team, and they did it a different way. And these are the two teams that, like, to me, these are the two best teams in baseball this year. Toronto played regular season like it was one of the best teams in baseball. Dodgers struggled for part of the second half of the season and kind of, you know, like walked their way in to the end of the season. But this is, you know, they have that mentality of like, can we just get to October? That's kind of how the Dodgers feel right now. And, yeah, man, I think the series is going to be competitive. I don't think a lot of people were saying the Dodgers are going to dominate. I think it's going to be way more competitive than people think. And game one showed that. Like, we are in for a fight. So if you're not entertained, if you're a baseball fan, you're not entertained, then I don't know. I don't know what you want to see outside of what we got last year with the Dodgers and Yankees, right? The two biggest names in baseball. This is exactly what you want. You want the two best teams, most talented teams right now as of going into the World Series are in the World Series, in my opinion. That's what we got. On to the NCAA. I'm going to be quick with the NCAA next couple topics because I want to get us up out of here. But I just want to talk Lane Kiffin for a minute, man. Lane Kiffin has been to multiple coaching positions, NFL, NCAA, and I think he's found his groove in the NCAA. I think he's found that groove in the NCAA. I don't think he gets enough credit for how he adapts to everything. Like, he's just adapted. I did not like them firing him when he was the coach of USC. And I don't like the way he got fired. I loved him as the coach of USC. I thought he got us through some shit, sanctions and scholarships, and still had us competitive. And you know, it hasn't been great since then. And I thought he kept us afloat, and it shows that Pat Hayden didn't know what the hell he was doing at USC. But we got to put some respect on Lane Kiffin's name, because all he does is go to places and he's successful. Now, he did Tennessee dirty to go to USC, but a lot of people know that USC was his dream job. And he's since apologized about that, obviously, because look how they did him. So, Lane Kiffin, man, you are a great coach. You are a great coach. There are some great coaches out there, but I don't think your name gets brought up enough. From what you're doing at Ole Miss this season, what you did last year with Jackson Dart and how he's looking in the NFL right now, I call him lane switching, man, because he doesn't matter what lane he's in, doesn't matter where he's driving. He's still cruising, man. He's still cruising down the road. That's Lane Kiffin. So shout out to Lane Kiffin, man. Keep doing your thing. The other one, man, Colorado did not look good this past week, and I think it might be time for Prime. It's just really quick, man. It might be time for Prime. The health issues are catching up. I think I said this the week before. I think you've done what you can do at Colorado. I think that ceiling has been hit. I think the cap, we've already reached it. We're there. It's there. Our heads are hitting the ceiling. No room for improvement. Not really. And so I think it's either time to retire or go somewhere for another 2 years where you can leave a legacy. I have said Florida State. I think that's the move. I think you go there for 2 or 3 years, get an heir apparent, get up out of there, go enjoy, watching your boys in the NFL, and stay healthy and get healthy. But I think it might be time for Prime, guys. What do you guys think? Let me know. And really quickly on the UFC, man. If anybody watched the UFC this weekend, the fight started early. They started at 11 o'clock my time here in Arizona. And I'm a UFC fan. I'm not a diehard. I do watch UFC fight nights. I try to watch every main card. And UFC 321 looked to be pretty good from what the matchups were. But where my lighter at, man? Where my lighter at? Because the matches are not sparking the fire they used to. Outside of the Bautista fight, which was okay, he kind of got whooped around a little bit. They're not the fights weren't that great. They just weren't. They weren't exciting. Aspinall got poked in the eye, and so there was a no contest there. The main event, the last main event, UFC 320 was okay. It just doesn't feel like we're getting. It looks great on paper. The cards look great. I get excited every time they drop one of these cards because I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And I was hoping to see the main event just kind of really be competitive. There's still that notion that John Jones, right, could come back and fight Tom Aspinall. But now we're going to get this as a rematch because it was a no contest. And you know what I'm saying? I don't know. And I know they're doing a thing overseas, you know what I mean? Abu Dhabi and Dubai and all that. I get it, man. The international flavor and all that, but I don't know. I wasn't really impressed by any of the matches I saw this weekend, and I normally get a chance to watch the prelims. I love actually watching the prelims more than I do the main event because those are normally super competitive. But it was so early. I was watching football. I was getting shit ready. And it's Saturday, man. I got a bunch of other shit to do. So, yeah. I don't know. I think the UFC's got to figure it out, man. And I think they've been great at figuring it out over the years. The last couple matches I haven't really felt. All right, man. I've already been talking your guys' ear off. We are going to get into the last few segments, man. This is Turn the TV Off.
TV off, turn his TV off, turn his TV off, turn his TV off.
All right. I'm still on task. I have one more episode to go. If you have not watched Task yet on HBO Max, please go watch it. The last last 2 episodes, the turn that this show took, where I thought I had it pinned down and I was absolutely wrong. It took a turn that the writing to me was incredible in this. The characters are my favorite word, are fantastic. Mark Ruffalo, man, god damn is Mark Ruffalo acting his ass off in this show. Like he had a scene in the last episode, the last episode I just watched, episode 6. I was like, god damn, Mark, he got, man, my left eye start quivering, man. It started quivering, man. The older I get, the more, man, my heartstrings, man. I'm getting old, you know what I'm saying? You start getting older, man, it's like things start getting a little emotional, you know what I'm saying? You start getting a little emotional. So, Mark Ruffalo killed it, man. If you guys have not watched Task on HBO Max, go run and watch that. Great watch, and I think it's only 7 episodes. The reason I'm not through it yet, because I watch sports and other shit too, and I have other shit going on, so I haven't been able to binge it. Now, on to the music section. This is What You Heard. All right, for this week on What You Heard, we have the new album. This album is brand spanking new as of the time of this review. We have Miguel, Chaos. First and foremost, finally Miguel drops an album. We have been waiting for those who are fans of Miguel. Miguel's incredible artist, really dope vocalist, one of the last of the real vocalists left. And he's just got such a dope vibe to him. And this album is all the feels of Miguel. If you're a Miguel fan, you're going to love this album. If you're not a Miguel fan, you're going to love this album. It's got a blend of rock. It's got this like rock element guitars, electric guitar, but it's still got that soul, got that Miguel R&B flavor to it. And the Mexican vibe that he brings to this, you know, bringing that Latin culture to the music, is super dope. He goes back and forth between the Spanish and the English, and the Latin flavors, man, are just all throughout this album. Couple of my standouts, title track Chaos is great way to start off the album. The Killing's got a dope vibe to it. R.I.P. I am not going to attempt to pronounce this word. It is P-E-R-D-E-R-M-E. P-E-R-D-E-R-M-E. If anybody knows how to pronounce that, can you please put that in the comment section? And is it a Spanish word? I'm okay with Spanish. I haven't seen that one. Let me know what it means. Maybe I don't know. I've never seen that word. Perdermy. That shit sound crazy. But let me know. Oscillate is another standout of mine. That's probably my favorite track on the album. Always Time is dope. Karma with George Clinton. This is the most probably Miguel sounding track. If you've listened to Miguel throughout the years, this has that kind of Miguel feel to it. And we know that Miguel gonna hit those notes, man. You know, Miguel gonna hit that, tell me is you with him, baby. I can't do it. That's why he gets paid to do it, and I don't get paid to do none of that shit. So, if you guys want some dope rock, funk, Latin flavored, and real good R&B, man, go run in Spotify, Apple, wherever you stream your music. Go jump, go run, go get that Miguel. Chaos. All right, man, this is the part of the show, the end of the show, where I give you my narrative of the week. I will make it brief. Because I know you like, man, I've been listening to you for an hour, and I love you, A. Ward, but I got shit to do. So do I. So here is my narrative. All right, my narrative for the week, man, is that the L's turn into dubs, man. The L's turn into dubs. You can't spell win without loss. And sometimes you got to sacrifice things. Sometimes you got to fight through things. I talked about last week, hey, man, ignore the haters, ignore the people that are trying to bring you down. But on your way to dubs, on your way to wins, man, sometimes you have to let certain things go. Sometimes it's that habit of yours that you love. Sometimes you have to actually go through losses. You have to go through failures, man. I always love sports for this reason, because I think sports teaches life lessons. And I think it is so important to go through losses and failures. In baseball, to be a successful hitter, you have to be a highly functional failure. It's basically what it is, because 3 out of 10 makes you a great hitter in baseball, and 3 out of 10 of anything else would be shitty, right? So I think in life, we have to go through failures. We have to go through struggles. We have to lose. We have to trim some fat. You know what I mean? Like, you have to lose that best friend that you've been, friends with for 20 years because they don't see the vision the same way you do. Or you have to be willing to lose out on certain opportunities as you go get other opportunities. You have to be able to give up your time, sometimes give up your time with your family. Sometimes you got to be willing to lose financial stability in order to possibly gain better financial stability doing something you love. And so as you guys are out there, grinding, working, and things aren't happening the way you want, or you just get these failures randomly, right? Like, you go for something, it doesn't happen. You go for something, it doesn't happen. Go for something, go for 2 things, and it happens. Then the next time it doesn't happen. Or you're starting to lose people as you're getting better. It's okay, man. The L's turn into dubs. You can't spell win without loss. You can't spell win without loss. So keep on grinding, man. Learn from those L's, man. The L's are not for loss. They're for lesson. They're for lesson. And learn from those L's. Let them be a lesson on your next path. It's just going to create that next path. It's going to, as you're on that road, it's creating that next path towards your next win and your eventual success. So, I love y'all. I'm here for y'all. I'm here for y'all, man, every week. Every week, man. And we gonna get the dubs together. We getting the dubs together. I guarantee that. We getting wins together. As long as y'all willing to go through the ups and the downs with me. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate the love. I really do. I appreciate the love on social media. I appreciate the love on the audio. Appreciate the love on the YouTube page. Appreciate the shit talking, the disagreeing with me on TikTok and Instagram. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate you guys telling me I'm right. I appreciate you guys telling me I'm wrong. That's what this is all here for, man. We're here to have fun. So, make sure you hit that link tree. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow me wherever you get your audio podcasts. The best audio podcast platforms, I'm there. I promise you. Pull up. Make sure you hit that link tree. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram. If I'm not on your favorite social media site, let me know. I'm pulling up. You know what I mean? Make sure you pull up on me. Make sure you tell a friend to tell their mama, tell their grandma, and tell their cousin and them. Pull up on the A Ward Show, man. Y'all have a great and fantastic week. And I'll see you, turkeys, next week.